Hello, everybody. My name's Milan Starcic. Welcome to Freedom Rising, a podcast dedicated to empowering individuals on the journey to personal growth, lasting serenity, and freedom from addiction. Tune in and join the movement. Your journey to freedom starts here. We neither represent, promote, or demote any 12-step program or organization. We are merely souls on the path of recovery with the desire to expand our lives and experiences and share them with you. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 181st Recovery Freedom Rising podcast. I'm Milan Starcic with co-host Shannon B.
Hi, guys.
Today's topic is self-discipline and patience. Could you share what this means to you, Shannon, and why you were happy to discuss this here today?
Yes. Hi, my friend. Hi, everyone. Happy Saturday morning or wherever time it will be when you watch this. Yes, I picked this because these are areas, patience I've grown in, self-discipline I could grow in more, right? So I always like to talk about things that can be challenging and like learn from you and share my experience too. And it ties into step 8. So those of you that are familiar with our literature, and step 8, we talk about making a list of everyone we had harmed and becoming willing to make amends to them, right? And that takes self-discipline. It takes to sit there with your sponsor and say, okay, here are harms I've caused. These are people I owe an amends to, whether I want to or I don't. This is what I need to do in order to stay living in solution and experience the freedom that comes with the step 9 promises. Right. So being disciplined in that sense and pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. And for me, it's more daily practice. What do I need to do each day? How do I stay committed to doing that? How do I discipline myself to not react in situations, to do the opposite of being impatient? How do I practice patience, right? And a disciplined life also leads to a lot more freedom. Whereas I used to think it was the opposite. People that were regimented or stuck to routines or, very self-disciplined. I was like, oh, they're wound too tight. But today I see the payoff in that, right? And not living in anxiety and not procrastinating. So it's always a work in progress, but that's why I picked those topics.
I love that. You know, I was kind of just reflecting upon this. I mean, I feel that right now in my life that I have stronger self-discipline than patience, and so it was very funny that you introduced it, that you feel like you have more patience than self-discipline, and it's just like it just shows how completely different stages people can be at and still be having a good life. Because self-discipline to me looked like kind of boring and like a trap before,
Yes.
but it's about like aligning our actions with our values, and that is like, you know, that takes a level of commitment and consistency, showing up and doing that next right thing. And, one of the things that I realized, I did a lot of thinking in the last week, and I did kind of, a few different speaking things at my cakes and I, for another group the other day. And one of the things in reflection that I realized is that doing the next right thing brings me peace, and peace is something that I seek. So when, aligning our actions with our values, if I'm seeking peace, then self-discipline is something that brings me that, and patience, they almost say is its companion virtue. And but I realized, to me, when I was making some notes for this, patience to me is acceptance in real time. It's not like if you are exhibiting patience, you are literally having acceptance in real time. And it's not something that you're like, I need to gain some acceptance on that. But it's like, if you're being patient, you actually are exhibiting acceptance that things are going in their right time, that, but that things, like that we can persevere in a situation that we maybe don't want to. We're not running away with fear. And And so, yeah, I think that we're going to have a great little chat this morning. Why? Because we love each other and we love to talk about wonderful things to share with people.
You got it. I like that. Patience is acceptance in real time.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, that is a good one.
Ooh, I
Oh,
like that.
do you want to start the questions or do you want me to?
Totally up to you. I'll go first. Okay.
Yes.
Self-discipline brings spiritual strength and clarity. Give me examples of how you feel that in your life today.
Okay. So self-discipline, like I was just saying, is like say the practice for me of doing the next right thing. And that means like living in my principles. And that for me brings me that level of peace and serenity and quite often joy. You know, like it keeps me from that duality of consciousness of whether I'm living in the past with shame and regret and guilt or I'm anxious about the future. You know, like I've been talking about the two-way prayer thing I'm doing, and one of the things it does is it gives me a template for the right action when I'm in a moment of doubt. You know, like, and the nice thing is that some of the things I write come up every day. You know, like if I want to love completely, keeping no record of wrongs is something that is part of loving completely. You know, like and so it its absence on my response in the two-way prayer would be me not actually responding completely, right? And uh, and so for me, it's like these little things echo in my head, you know, like, and especially, I mean, for that one, for that no record of wrongs, like if I am looking and I'm like, Shannon shouldn't be doing this, Shannon shouldn't be doing this. Why? Because I have this picture of what Shannon should be doing, and I actually am not even looking at Shannon herself. I'm looking at my concept of wanting Shannon to be something. And where am I? Well, I ain't fucking here if I'm not looking at the real person, like right there, you know? And so I don't know if I answered the question, but I sure had fun.
You sure did. I think it was great. And um, you put things into practice. Maybe it seems easy to the outside, maybe not so easy to you, but I remember that even in the place that we met up at a certain time every morning, you have routine, things you wanted to do to set the tone of your day,
Hmm.
and that's admirable. Yeah, so for me, to answer my question, I feel like it's like I had to take the negative connotation out of it that in my head, right? That discipline was like you you have something wrong, or you have to take things away from yourself to be this way. But I realize it's not about restriction, it's about alignment and aligning myself with God's guidance, right?
Hmm.
So when I practice self-discipline, I'm training my heart and mind to listen to God's guidance over my own impulses, drawing me closer to his will and gives me peace and that comes from obedience and purpose. So I can I can do that all day long, right? Not always perfect, but I can try to that because I know from so many years of strong faith and then coming out of addiction again that when something feels tumultuous or like I'm running up against a wall and expecting it to move, I'm driving in self-will, not relying on God's. So I feel that in me and I can connect the two really quickly. So the more I am leaning into God and aligning myself with his will, my actions with his will, the easier it is for me to be obedient and self-disciplined, right? Taking away, like I'm not restricting something, I'm aligning.
I love that. You
Thank
know,
you.
it dawned on me when you were saying taking away the negative connotation of discipline. I just wanted to comment on that. And like, we're in a different generation now, but I'm 53 years old. And when I was growing up, kids got hit in school and they called it disciplining.
Yes.
Like it was the first time I probably heard the word discipline not used as a punishment was in grade 5 when I read this book written by Bruce Lee. And it was talking about discipline, and having the discipline, to get better at your training, whatever it was that you were training towards. But, so yeah, like it it had a negative connotation because I had a ruler across the hands in grade 1. Like, my idea of discipline hurt like fuck. Like, so it's
Yeah, that
really,
it's like self-discipline is like being hard on yourself, you know, um, condemning yourself for not doing something, or if there's a pain or a disadvantage associated with it, right?
yeah,
When I look at it from alignment with God, it's more about a spirit of power and love,
and
not fear.
integrity.
Fear, right? And
Yeah.
self-control.
So that's going to go perfectly into this question. Self discipline is love in motion, the quiet choice to do what's right, not what's easy. How has your recovery taught you to act on principles rather than impulses?
Mm.
Shannon B. Ooh.
Well, when I feel stress and my mind quickly will want to give me a way to get out of that, make that negative feeling go away, make that discomfort go away, right? Like, oh, light a cigarette, have a drink, do this. Like, I don't act in those things. So, right
Mm,
there, um, I feel a lot more strength in that too. Can you just repeat one part of the question again? Like what you had
will
said?
so. How has your recovery taught you to act on principles
Okay.
rather than impulses?
Um, Pausing and agitated too,
Mhm.
showing patience, right? Showing love, showing tolerance, letting go, not allowing how somebody else acts to affect me so much. Because all those things can stir up in me. Oh, well, I'm going to, if you want to treat me like this is how I'm going to treat you back. Or, here's how, like, you remember I said before in one of this podcast, like I would drink at people. They would do
Mhm.
something to piss
Yep.
me off, and I'd be like, "Well, we'll see about that," and then I'm out drinking the poison, you know what I mean? Expecting them to die from it, as it says in our literature, and that just makes my life more complicated, right back to problems, all of everything that I don't want today. So, being able to transform my mindset from reaction to intention helps me align with my principles.
I love that. Okay, self discipline is love in motion, the quiet choice to do what's right, not what's easy. How has my recovery taught me to act on principles rather than impulses? It's funny. I used to call myself a sensationalist. And it was just that I was, fully seeking different sensations, whether it was alcohol, whether it was drugs, whether it was sex, whether it was cigarettes. It was physical pleasures for sure. And and honestly, like my recovery doing the steps really showed me how hurtful a lot of that actions was, like, and how and how a lot of what was going on inside of my head, the pain inside of my head, was the leftover residue of doing those kind of things to other people. And like, you know thinking I got away with something while it was eating part of my soul on the side. And so I would say that the entire program of action that we're faced with the 12 steps is designed to teach me how to act on these principles, you know? And it's really a system of balance and checks. It's like, getting me connected to the universe that can help me deal with these problems, showing me what these problems are, helping me to have a method to get rid of these problems, and then doing that moral inventory to make sure I'm living those principles all the time. And then, the prayer and meditation to help me stay connected to grow inside those principles, really. And then we got the ultimate, the service of the 12th step, right? Like, where it's just like that is, what I would call love in action, and yeah, so I mean, I think that this program in its entirety is designed to help me not live on those impulses anymore, you know, and and gratefully so, because until I did the step work and I saw how damaging that was, really, um, I was pretty good at keeping my blinders on and just being a jerk, really. Yeah. Okay. You got another question, Shan?
I sure do. And thank you for sharing. I like the way you say things, and it always helps me reflect too. Do you believe that discipline, self-discipline, could be the doorway from dreams to results? If so, how have you seen that work in your life today?
Woo. I think it's like the dynamic duo of discipline and commitment. You know, it is, I call them some of the keys to freedom, really, because one of the things for me is that imagine, imagine my brain. Okay, like imagine my brain is just like this hamster wheel, and whether it's thinking about drugs or thinking about shame and guilt or thinking about anxiety, it wants to roll and it wants to take me away from now, right?
Let's roll.
Let's roll. So it's like living on the past, living on the past. What about tomorrow? What about tomorrow? Living on the past. And it's going like that. And, one of the things that discipline and commitment does is like, I can envision that future. Or I can envision this growth in a direction, because really that's kind of what I feel like gets provided by the discipline and commitment, right? And now all of a sudden I put discipline and commitment into play. I have like my own program of action with, getting up, doing these things, doing my exercise. And now at the end of each day, I'm going to bed and I'm not like, did I do the right thing? Did I do the right thing? Did I do the right thing? What about tomorrow? What about tomorrow? I don't have to worry. It's like all I have to know is I did the right thing, and and tomorrow it's going to be more of the same of doing the right thing. And so it eliminates so much negative self chatter in my brain, and just is like the actual vehicle for that dream to turn into reality, you know? Because it's like, gosh, I think it was like Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance or something. My friend's dad gave me this as I was about to drive out to Edmonton when I was 19 on my motorcycle from Ontario. And so I read this book on that trip. But one of the things it talked about, which it always has just stuck with me, and you hear it in a million places, is like you never look at the mountain. You just look down at your feet and you take one step. And I feel that discipline and commitment are a lot like that. As long as we can just focus on one step, we're capable of it. And it's a lot like recovery with the one day at a time and everything like that. I think that's it for me. And P.S. I love you.
No, you too, my friend. Um, just thinking the gratitude I have in my life today for everything I'm learning and continuing to learn. And yeah, I'll tell you something. I was
Okay.
very felt self-disciplined when it came to partying.
Ooh, yeah.
Took precedence over a lot of things. And even with the other thing had to come first, that was still occupying a lot of my mind. And the minute that I could, off to the races. You know what I mean? Like, how there's like a house cat that just likes to lounge around the house and find a spot of sun, go over here. You could even open the door and they're like, no, this is my home. I don't need to be out in the wild. Not me. Like an alley cat, crack of the door. I'm off to the races. When I was in addiction, that was for sure how it was. So yeah, I think about like the times when though there was no self-control in that, it was like I was sure disciplined and committing to whatever I needed to do to, have the time of my life. And I'll use it in air quotes because it never really was, and especially not in the end. But yeah, people with self-discipline that know that are close to me in my life, they have a lot of self-control. And that's something that I strive for too. And again, it's changing my mindset around the word control too, right? As I want to do the right thing. I want to do right by God. I want to live in my principles. I want to practice integrity in my life. And these are the things I need to do to live in that world, right? For that to be who I am. And I'm grateful for it. Also, in terms of like dreams becoming reality, I procrastinate, I'm going to stay stagnant or I'm going to have mediocre life. I get shit done, not by going, oh, I don't want to do this and putting it off. Like I've really challenged myself in that lately. Here's the time I'm doing this. Let's go. A little bit each day is better than none. And then trying to get everything done in a midnight hour, which I used to think was I could get a high from almost. Because then I can go and enjoy things. Have you ever done that? Like, you're like, oh, I'll do it then. I'll do it then. And then now 6 months later and nothing's been done. Or you're trying to enjoy yourself doing another activity, but you can't because all you can think about is that thing you're putting off.
Yes. You know what? One of the guys on the podcast said the other day, procrastination's like masturbation. It seems like a good idea, but in the end, you're just fucking yourself.
Yeah, like there's no freedom from it. It's not like, oh,
No.
I'll get that done later because like you don't get the rewards and the payoffs of accomplishing something until you actually do.
Yes. Um, like how they say the comparison is the thief of joy. But procrastination really is the thief of the present moment because, like you're just future tripping or tripping about what you didn't do. This year I call my year of no procrastination. And so like I have tried, and I'm not saying I have not procrastinated on some things, but I have tried to the best of my ability to do an assigned thing when I've decided I'm going to do it, you know? And it's been very relieving in a lot of ways. But one of the things is that I'm trying to make sure I don't take on too much. More procrastination occurs when I unrealistically schedule life
Yeah.
too much, and then it's like you have no chance but to procrastinate. And really, it's kind of like lying to yourself about what you can actually physically do.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
we say like no half measures. That
Mm-hmm.
has to come from taking too much on too. And I think like people like you and I, right, who, we've been workhorses a lot in our life and aligned success with, financial outcome and also how much we can pack into the stream of life. Like I used to think that was just like superpower. Boom, 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 go, go, go. No wonder, no wonder I'm chugging booze in the end. But that's not successful. It's really not like it's quality over quantity. So having boundaries, being able to say no, prioritizing, and not it being about how much I'm doing, but what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that whole work smarter, not harder thing. I always love it. I'm like, absolutely. But then I'm like, I got, juggling like 20 things in the air. So yeah, I'm really trying to be more cognizant of that and not committing overcommitting.
And no clients like to be the fifth ball you throw into the air.
No, and
Y-
I'm still learning too, like
mm.
coming up on 2 years again here, and and
What's your date, by the
congratulations
way?
to
What
you who just took that. So proud of you, my friend.
what
29.
is 29th?
Um, I'm still learning what is too much.
Yeah.
That's a topic right there, right? And I'm still and
Oh
like to trust
yeah.
myself, like because I think there's like trusting self and what is too much. That's get that write that down for our net our future episodes. But yeah, like what is too much,
Yeah.
right? Because I came from working like crazy to and balancing a ton to focusing solely on getting better and healing and
Hmm.
my recovery journey. So that was a big shift. And now I'm trying to have a healthy medium. So yeah, I'm still learning as to what is too much. What is I don't really fall into what is not enough because I've
Yeah.
always I've al- I've always been an overachiever of
Yeah.
taking a lot on.
I don't think with a brain like yours, you could be an underachiever. I feel like there's no way your brain rolls at too high of a speed to be like la dee da. Like that's just not who you are. Like,
Sure isn't. Can I share one little thing
oh
that
yeah, you share
I'm
too.
I'm outing myself too because
Okay.
I want to hold myself accountable to our fellow listeners and to you. I am coming up on 48 hours and RT free, nicotine replacement therapy free.
Whoa. And you find yourself pleasant still. That's amazing. Yes?
Yesterday, I squeezed a key fob for my studio. It's just a hard plastic fob
Yeah.
because the elevator was taking too long. So hard
Yeah.
that, like, this is a hard plastic. I think I could have broken it, but I didn't because my replacement fob was in the studio. But even when it was hurting my wrist right here, I was getting joy out of it because I was
Ooh.
impatient,
Yeah. So then this is the perfect topic for today.
irritable, right? But I'm reading that Alan Carr book.
Okay.
Everyone said if you really want to do it, you got to
That's
read
worked
it.
for some of my friends. For me, my thing was double patching it, and I had the spray, and it was like that was enough to green me out. And then it was like every week I would like take off like a quarter of a patch. So basically, like over the period of like 2 months. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, 5 days. I'm like, I haven't done nothing. I'm like, I guess I'm done. Right?
This spray is causing me now this is turning into a smoking podcast. This spray has caused me so much anxiety. It doesn't serve me anymore. It does the
Okay.
opposite. But
Yeah.
I'm so addicted to nicotine. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it this way. But yeah, I feel good this morning. I didn't wake up with a craving, which is nice. I'm not any even halfway through the book, and he says to continue all the way through the book, but I'm just trying like this. So yeah, I'll check in with you next weekend too.
Ooh, gonna be
But
good to see.
I know you get it.
Yeah, well, I'm officially 19 months and 4 days, 5 days, like that. And before that, I'd never done that since I was an embryo. Like my mom smoked when she was pregnant, smoked in the house. I had my first cigarette at 4 years old. Started smoking in grade five. Like it was. So by the time she quit smoking, I was like, got my own. Thanks. Yeah, my first pack of smokes I bought myself cost me $1.18.
I think mine were for something.
$1.18. That's how cheap it was back then. I remember me and four friends, and we each put in a quarter, and we got a pack of smokes. Yeah. That was pretty crazy.
Me and my friend put in a quarter and got a pack of Smiths Holy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he challenges the way you think about stuff. And I like that because I need to do that every single day.
I think, to be quite honest, that cigarettes and nicotine are just as hard as any drug I've ever dealt with ever in my life. Like hands down, like more persistent, more like weirdly in the brain.
I found it to be harder than pretty much anything I've given up.
Yeah, I absolutely was. And man, I'm just lucky. I'm not lucky. I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I'm still reaping the benefits. Like I beat my time running up the mountain beside us that I've been running up the other day, and it nearly killed me. Like I was almost passing out, but it gets me coughing, and then it's like I'm still gaining parts of my lungs back even after almost 2 years. Like it's crazy how long that shit hangs in there.
Do you
And
still you still feel like you cough sometimes and like you can feel winded?
so there was nothing for a long, long time, and then in August I had an old bandmate visit, and he wanted to climb a bunch of the hills, so we went really fast up some of the peaks around here, and the very first day it was like I got real wheezy, and we get to the top, and I start coughing and coughing a lot of stuff out, and then it was like the next time I went to record. I was like, I can tell how long I can sing for. Like, I know my generally and I was like, I have more room. And then we did it again a couple more times while he was here. And then I was like, fuck this. If this is what's causing like me to get past that threshold of this stuff holding into me, I'm like, I'm doing this. So now 4 times a week, I'm going up these hills and really accelerating my heart rate and breathing and it's still working in that respect. Eventually, I'll probably just have to do bigger hills, or I'll get it all cleaned out. One of the two, whichever.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm loving it. And it feels I feel so much more alive, like so much more alive. Like I feel so powerful, powerful.
Yeah, I'm going to make the commitment to go back to the gym. I won't even get too much into that until I'm actually going. But I know that's what I did before to quit too, right?
Substitute cigarettes with action because
When
the
I was
cardio.
boxing, I was like, there's no way I can keep doing this. Like I'd feel disgusted,
Yeah.
and I couldn't breathe very well. And that's how I got off it. But my goal is staying off, like never going back.
And it's creating that cardio habit that just won't tolerate it, you know? Like for me at least, it took me almost 6 months after quitting before I started getting the actual like energy to push against the condition of my health. And then it was just like, okay, this is like I could feel it. I could feel that this is what it's going to take. It's going to take an elevated heart rate, and it's going to take a long time, and it's going to take like discipline and for sure, like on my whatever on my phone, it's like 21,000 and change steps per day the last 6 months, and average of 16.9 kilometers and per day. Yeah, it's pretty good. I feel like never ever in my life. Like I feel like I'm the healthiest I've ever been at the age of 53, which is just crazy to me.
I was reading something and it was written towards to women, but it could be either way. But I'll just share how it was written. It's about finding a man who is very self-disciplined because they're a good partner in a sense of they practice self-control.
Hmm.
And I thought that was really interesting, right? And the link of it that like somebody's very self-disciplined and they're aligned with God and and they hold themselves accountable in that sense. They will hold themselves accountable in areas of temptation.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't think I could like live with like a random chaotic partier right now. Like that just would be absolutely insanity for me. Like, and nor would I want to. I mean, like who's kidding who? Like partying is not a spectator sport for me at all. Like I'm just like nah. you know, and even, and it's good though. The couple friends that I have that are still like, uh, one of them's a drinker, the other one whatever, does whatever he wants. And in the interactions I have with them, it's like we'll interact on doing these kind of healthy things, and then and then they'll be like, "Oh, come on," and I'm like, "This is not my scene anymore," and they understand though. I'm like, it's just not a spectator sport to me to watch people party, you know. Like I find it actually kind of really freaking boring. And it's just like I got like this ridiculously full life right now that I'm doing things kind of that are aligning my actions with my values. And and sitting around and watching people get wasted feel like the opposite of what I want to do right now. Like I'm trying to save people's lives, and watching people party is not saving people's lives for me, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Woo, man, we could tangent, baby. I
Good though. I like this sometimes,
do. Yeah, it's okay, man. It's a good Saturday morning. It's a good chance to catch up.
It is. And also people listening are like, oh, maybe, they've experienced this or that, right? Like it's
Hmm.
all, I like this unscripted, unfiltered
Yeah, and I mean,
sesh. We
it's
do sessions we do.
And I think too, like, especially one of the things with cigarettes, like we're talking about self-discipline and patience today, right? And it got to a point for me where me and my family had run out of patience of me trying to quit cigarettes. And it's really important not to give up that hope or to give up that patience, because it was like I didn't want to be a bitchy jerk around them one more time. Like they just didn't deserve that. And unfortunately, there was a 3 to 7 day period, or from day 3 to day 7, that could just be jerkish for me. And so this time just it was actually because of young Gabriel. It was him who had kind of was doing the double patch thing, and I was like, at first I was like, "You're crazy," and then I was like watching, and I'm like, "But you're not bitchy." And for me, that was it. It was like literally to replace my smoking with enough nicotine that there wasn't that bitchy period, and then to taper it. And the beauty is I don't know about Alberta, but in British Columbia, you can get the patches. You can get 3 months of the patch or 4 months of the patches free from the government, from a pharmacy once a year to try and quit smoking. Like they want people to not smoke. I bet you can go in your pharmacy and in Alberta, and there's a program like this. I think because I mean it's in their best interest to have people not smoke for how much it costs further down in life in healthcare. Anyway, so I would just make sure they gave me the biggest patches, the 21 milligram patches. And then when I would put the two on, it's like I said, I would just cut a little piece out. And then it was like I could taper, and by the end, a month's worth of patches lasted an extra month. Like by the time, it was March 29th, and I think it was the first week of July where all of a sudden I was like, holy shit, I haven't had any on for a week. So but I would say that it was the one time that I was not a bitchy jerk. And trust me, I could be one. Like I was almost giving up hope on that. So yeah.
You're right. I just
Yeah.
looked it up. That's crazy.
Yeah. So there you go. Like I mean, even I'm just saying that the nice thing about the patch for me was that I wasn't still doing like an oral or like habit. Like
Yes.
replacing one habit with another habit is still just habit stacking or whatever. Like it's kind of and so it was like, eventually I just didn't put on a patch. That was like the end of my habit. And I just made it so that it was like the first thing I did in the morning was swap a patch, because I would be bitchy within an hour if I didn't, you know? And yeah, anyway, That was my journey along cigarette relinquishment. And
Wow.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy. In fact, I find it really hard to even get close to people smoking now. Like my lungs feel like these tender, delicate flowers now.
Love
And
you.
yeah, so yeah, okay. Uh, the big book reminds us to take life one day at a time, which is both discipline and patience in practice. How does living one day at a time help you stay grounded and peaceful?
Ooh. Okay, tell me, say again, say again. Wait.
The big book reminds us to take life one day at a time, which is both discipline and patience in practice. How does living one day at a time help you stay grounded and peaceful?
Mm. Staying in today does,
Mm,
right? Whatever challenge, trials, tribulations, things that come along in the day, God's with me, right? Taking it one day at a time. Sometimes it's taking it, I'm at smaller increments too. But I also change my mentality to the best of my ability. And that happens through prayer and meditation is I get to rather than, oh, I have to. Is more I stay in gratitude, the easier everything is. Sounds simple, but it's the truth.
it's
One
so
day at
true.
a time.
One day at a time. Okay.
Overthinking, over catastrophe, like, pre-catastrophizing, all of that, like it doesn't serve us, right?
No, it's in fact like most of it becomes very irrelevant in the face of the actual world as it evolves. I remember that even from when I was partying, I used to experience a lot of anxiety on nights where I knew I was not going to get any sleep. And that, like in the last 3 hours before I would have to function again like a normal human being. And in that period of time, I started realizing I'm like, it's not the actual morning that's going to be bad. It's this worrying right now that's actually like ruining this moment, you know? And so I would try to actually just quell my anxiety at that point. So, like living one day at a time helps me stay grounded and peaceful. Well, I think I just said earlier on, for me, it's like doing the next right thing, is creates peace for me. And, living presently is the next right thing. Like all of these principles and all of this program are designed to bring us to right now, and to keep us out of the past and the future. And it's kind of funny. There's like this weird thing. I'm going on a tangent right now, but
Good.
there's this weird thing where it's like, we are actually supposed to reflect on our actions and do inventories and all this and that, but we're not supposed to stay there, you know? And I feel that knowing what to do correctly in the right moment requires me to skip back and forth quite quickly between the past and the present because it's like if I don't remember what the wrong action was, then I could just repeat the wrong action over and over and be living presently, you know? And so it's like I have to be able to actually remember my past quite frequently in order to act correctly right now. And I was thinking about that this week. I was like, there's a certain amount of me that actually can't be present all the time because I would need to reference what was the wrong thing when I did it before. Yeah, and I was like, well, but I do believe this. I do believe this. When I feel connected to the universe and I am like living in that joy and peace of being right here, right now, that is amazing. And that is that is sustainable quite frequently when I'm by myself in nature right now. It's not necessarily like sustainable when somebody's fighting right beside me in a lineup in an ice cream shop and I'm starving and there's kids crying and whatever. Like there's different circumstances where it's like I don't quite have that tight of a connection yet to be impervious to all of life on life's terms, you know? And fatigue is one of them for sure, you know. Yesterday and the day, like, oh my God. So I had my NA cake on Thursday night. There was cookies, there was Boston cream donuts, and there was this cake. Like I was so sugar hungover yesterday, Shannon. Like it was painful. I was like, oh my God, I'm dying. And I was like, what a great reminder. Like, what a great reminder of how disgusting I can feel. Like, I felt so bad yesterday. I was like, I'm like, can that be counted as a relapse? Like, it was so horrendous feeling. Like, and it was all 100% sugar related. Like it was absolutely ridiculous. Like, oh, yeah. And I'm glad that I only have a cake once a year and that other people's cakes I can just run out the door if I don't want the cake. They're like,
Sugar, I know.
they're like,
Right?
finish it. I was like, I ain't finishing a half a cake because it's like a group of like six of us. It's a very small group. Yeah, six isn't very many slices out of a cake, not with donuts and everything. Yeah.
I ate half a loaf of this pumpkin banana chocolate chip bread the other day.
And
I defrosted another one, thinking I'm gonna need it for the weekend. Now I can't even touch it.
yeah, because you just felt gross, right? Like if somebody showed up right now with cake, Boston creamer cookies, I'd be like, get out of here. Like I'm actually looking forward to this meal we're having later today because I know that I can just have some nice turkey, some
Like I've
potatoes and
sugared
carrots.
myself out now from it, you know? Like,
Yeah.
and it was so delicious. Yeah, I don't have a lot of self-control around that. But I like in any like I'm still doing things to the point of overdose, you know? Then it's like, oh, I'm off
Mm,
this.
yeah. Yeah. No, like you literally hit a rock bottom of sugar where you're like, oh, like it just doesn't feel good at
But
all.
it's like made with Splenda, right? So
Oh,
it,
you're not sugaring.
it's not that much sugar, but it's still like a lot to like eat, you know what I mean? Um there's still like sugar in the chocolate chips and pumpkin puree and stuff, but it's just like you have to eat so much to the point that now you're like just
Oh,
the
I know.
thought of something sweet.
Yeah. No, no. I've totally felt so gross yesterday. I felt so gross. I like the second I got home and got the turkeys going and everything. I'm like, I'm just going to bed. I'm like, I feel disgusting right now. And I just went up, and I don't even think it took me 5 minutes to fall asleep last night. My body was just like, you don't do that to yourself anymore. Don't do that. And then it's also, you know, like one of the things that with discipline and self discipline and patience right now is we have guests, and now like my timetable is kind of getting thrown out the window, but it's like obviously like I see these people never and I've got another week, and it's like how to be okay with adjusting my schedule and having patience that my schedule's coming back because it really is running my program tight that keeps me happy and healthy, you know, which is why, like today, we're doing this podcast. I was like, I need my podcast that day. It's going to be a massive 20, like with that many people in my house, it'll be chaos later. And I need to know that we're starting with something as awesome as this right now.
We are awesome.
Yes, we are. It's like, we are awesome.
Oh, just because we're spitting out.